What's going on, everyone? This week, I decided to let you in on my design process, showing you every step from beginning to end. And with the Pistons winning their first playoff game since 2008, I got inspired to do a Pistons bad boy jersey. Obviously, the team themselves has already done a Bad Boys inspired jersey, but I wanted to try something maybe a little more bold. I'm a big fan of this t-shirt layout, so this is going to be my inspiration, taking pieces from this shirt and turning it into parts of the jersey. So let's get started. Alright, got the picture in for inspiration to refer back to. Now it is time to tackle this Detroit word mark. So gonna find a font, looking through my fonts to figure out what we got here. Probably looking for something collegiate, university with that serif, big bold serif. So scouring through a few fonts right now, ultimately seeing which one's going to do the trick. All right, so we've got a word mark on the jersey. Let's get this jersey black, the color that we're all ultimately going to want it to make that word mark really pop. So I'm going to load that in. All right, now that we got that settled, one of the things that's on the shirt that I like is that the gray isn't just a gray, it's like that kind of Henley pattern gray. So let's go and get ourselves a Henley pattern to put across that Detroit. I think it just adds a little more texture, a little more contrast, a little bit of something to that Detroit rather than just kind of making it a bland overall gray. So let's go and get myself something to put on that and play around with that. All right, got the texture in. I like the way that looks. Now I'm wondering if adding some like depth to it, some 3D lettering could look cool. I know that's not part of the shirt, but maybe that's something that could make that feel a little more bold, a little, I don't know, give it a little extra oomph. Let's go down that thought process and let's see how that turns out. All right, time to call upon the stain tool, my favorite tool for adding some shadows and depth to 3D text. So finally got the text to a place that I like, but now I'm a little worried it's not going to work once we add in the basketball, so let's do that and let's see how it looks. So let's find ourselves a vector basketball here online. Going to bring that into Photoshop, and we'll get that set up to be looking like how it does on this shirt. Well, in classic design fashion, the 3D text does not work with the basketball. So scrapping the 3D text, going back down to 2D, and now that we have the basketball in, gonna fiddle around with that until we get the ball exactly where I want it. It looks a little too big. Shrink that down. Get that tighter under the R. Make sure the blacks match so that it's coherent across the jersey. Okay, I think that's in a place where I like it. Now, let's get that number in. So we're gonna get our piston font, bring that up, get that into 2 for Kate Cunningham. Scale that into position and get that centered on the ball. Now that I got the 2 in position, I got that kind of gray color big enough, I realize I'm not a big fan of that gray. I think it's a little too, well, gray. And that's the kind of border that I've had on the Detroit letters. And I want to go more of a cream. So playing around, finding the cream that I like, and now I'm gonna change the outline of Detroit as well as the Nike swoosh sign. So let's save that and have those be added onto the main template, see how they look. Okay, I like that. Let's keep fiddling with that cream color. It's a little too cream. I like it a little more white, a little more gray. Just finding that balance. It's a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I think this is ultimately the color I'm gonna go with for that complementary color along with the gray and the orange for the jersey. Trying out the 2 italicized. I like that. I'm gonna do some experimentation and figure out exactly how I want that number to sit in the basketball. All right, after a lot of finagling, got it to a point where I'm at least happy with, so we're gonna move on to the next thing. Next, I wanna bring in the Bad Boy script, and now I know the Pistons have repurposed this to say Detroit on their version. I like it saying Bad Boys, but we're gonna put that over the jock tag is my thought. So gonna get a solid color, change that to the cream that I've been using across the jersey. Gonna move that down into position. Look at that, it's already basically the same size. Move it down into position above the jock tag. Get that scaled and set. And then once that's in position, we'll save. And then I think that's gonna be it for now for the front of the jersey. Let's start looking at the collar and the cuffs. All right, for cuffs and collar, I'm gonna start with the cream. Just do a simple cream, see what that looks like. I do like it just plain. But I wanna make sure, I wanna incorporate the orange into it. I think that the orange and cream, as those two as the primary colors to go with the black, is really gonna pop. So I like that a lot. We're gonna put that on the sleeves now and make sure that I get the orange in. And, oh, those are opposite. Which do I like more? Do I like the orange on the top? So that's orange on the bottom. Kind of like that. Let's see, what does orange on the top look like? Let's move that orange over and let's do that same thing for the collar and see what that looks like. Yeah, orange on the top. That looks much better. All right, so now we've got the cuffs and the collar done. Let's move on to the sides of this jersey. And for the sides, that's what I'm planning on bringing in the skull logo. So let's first cut that out of the t-shirt so that way we can be able to use it however we want across the side of the panel of the jersey. Skeleton is in. All right, like how that looks. I know the Pistons City jersey, I think just has the crossed bones down the side of the panel. I think we should do the whole skull. I mean, the skull logo is dope. let's have that be all the way down the side. So we're gonna duplicate it, pull it down, then get that evenly distributed across this side, and then see exactly how we want it to be looking on that, with doing some minor tweaks here and there and playing around with kind of where we want that spaced out on the actual side panel. Now, to be honest, this is a pretty clean look right here. Pretty big fan of just having the skulls down the side by themselves. But what if we incorporate the orange? Let's bring the orange down in a stripe, right dividing that line. I like that. I do like that. What if we now bring in the cream? Let's make that the background of the side paneling and load that in. That I like. But now the skulls are the same color as the side panel, so they kind of get lost in it. You're not getting a really clear shape. So what we're gonna do instead is I'm going to get rid of the stroke, and we're first gonna see just, all right, what if we just made them all black? How does that look? Boring. You lose a lot of the detail of the skull. So instead, let's go in and let's reverse it. So instead of having it be a cream skull with a black shadows and all of that, let's flip them. Let's do black skull with cream shadows and dark spots. And let's see how that looks on the cream. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. All right, well, now that we have the skulls on a gradient map so that I can change them whatever, what if we go back to the cream and we have the sides black and we have a cream stroke next to the orange stroke along with the cream skulls? What would that look like? I like it. It feels a little cluttered. And I think that the cream panels with the black skulls is just a cleaner look. Plus it really makes those skulls kind of pop, which I think, yeah, I mean, those skulls just pop, and I think that looks like a really cool, unique look for this jersey. So now we just do some more minor tweaks to get those skulls exactly where I want them to feel, exactly how I want on those sides, and to fill those sides. And then it's on to the final touches of the template, changing the background to give ourselves a final complete jersey. That's what I got for you this week, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as that really helps support this channel, and I will see you back next week.